let's dive into something that's happening literally every single time you use an app, but you probably never even think about it. We're talking about data validation, the real unsung hero that's keeping our entire digital world from just falling apart. And to get started, let's talk about a feeling I think we've all had. You've been there, right? You're filling out some online form, you hit that submit button, and bam, the screen just explodes in angry red error messages. Password's too short. That's not a valid email. It almost feels like the website is personally mad at you.
Well, it turns out all of that digital yelling comes down to just one thing: bad data. See, when a system gets information it can't understand or use, it has to slam on the brakes and reject it. It has to. And that's where our hero, data validation, finally steps onto the scene.
Think of this whole process as a super strict quality control department for every single piece of information you type online. It's data's first and last line of defense.
So, what is it really? Well, data validation is just the official name for the process that makes sure any data a system gets is, correct, that it's relevant, and that it's consistent. Is basically the ultimate quality check before anything gets saved.
But honestly, the absolute easiest way to think about it is like this. Data validation is a bouncer for your app. It's standing at the front door of the database with a very specific guest list, a list of rules. And if your data doesn't meet the criteria, it's not getting in. Simple as that.
So how does this bouncer even know what to look for? Well, it uses a set of 4 really basic but really powerful checks to inspect every piece of data trying to get in. Let's break them down.
First up, we've got the most fundamental rule, the data type check. This one is super simple. It just makes sure the data is in the right format. So if a field is asking for your age, it's expecting a number. You can't just type out the word 51.
And here's what's so interesting about how a computer actually sees our data. To you and me, 51 with quotes and 51 without quotes look exactly the same. But to the computer, they are totally different things. The one with quotes is a string. It's just text. The one without is an integer, a real number it can do math with. The data type check spots this difference in a split second and says, nope, wrong type, and rejects the text version.
Okay, next up is the range check. This one makes sure that data falls between an acceptable minimum and maximum. It's all about making sure the numbers are, well, realistic. And this is a perfect example of that. It's pretty safe to say a person's age can't be a negative number, right? And it's also highly, highly unlikely to be over 150. So this little piece of code sets those boundaries. It creates a logical range and automatically rejects anything that falls outside of it. Our third bouncer rule is the constraints check. This is where things get a bit more custom. Programmers use this to set specific rules that go beyond just type or range, like, say, the required length for a password or a username. We've all seen this one a million times. You try to sign up for something and you can't leave the name field blank, but you also can't write your life story in there. This code is exactly what's making that happen. It's checking if the length, that's what len means, of the name is 0, or if it's longer than 30 characters. If either of those is true, it just says, please try again. And finally, we have the Boolean check. This one is the simplest of all, really. It just boils an answer down to one of 2 options, true or false, yes or no. There is no gray area. Now, at first glance, this looks like another length check, doesn't it? But the secret is how the computer thinks. The check itself is a Boolean question. Is the length of this name greater than 30? The answer can only be true, or it can be false. That's it. It's this super simple yes or no logic that powers countless decisions in software, from showing an error message to confirming you checked that little I agree to the terms box. Okay, so our bouncer has done its job. It's checked the data against all its rules. What happens next? Well, the outcome is actually really straightforward. So here's the flow. You enter your data, the system runs its validation checks. If the data passes everything, if it's on the guest list, it's accepted and saved. Welcome to the club. But if it fails even one of those checks, the system rejects it and sends back one of those error messages telling you what to fix. So you see, that red text isn't really angry, it's actually trying to help you get it right. So, we've gone through the how, but let's just zoom out for a second and talk about the why. Why do developers go through all this trouble? Well, because without data validation, our digital world would basically be chaos. It really comes down to 5 huge benefits. First, data integrity.
It's what makes sure the info being stored is actually accurate and trustworthy. Then there's error prevention, which is all about catching mistakes right at the beginning when they're easy to fix. It also massively improves the user experience by guiding us to fix our own mistakes instead of just leaving us frustrated. Fourth, system stability. You don't want one bad piece of data to crash an entire application. And finally, and this one is absolutely critical, security. Proper validation is a major line of defense against hackers trying to inject malicious code into a system. It's a huge deal.
So there you have it. Data validation is this silent, tireless process that keeps our digital lives orderly and safe. It's the bouncer at the door of every single app. Which kind of leaves us with one last question, doesn't it? If validation is the bouncer, who wrote the rulebook? Thanks for joining this explainer.